Hey everyone, I wanted to share with you a really important teaching that I learned from Tanishka, which is the etymology of, or the root of the term honeymoon. It's probably not going to be something easy for you to find because it is, ancient women's wisdom teachings, which is taught through storytelling. So I'm here to tell you about it. So the term honeymoon is referring to the lunar phase and the menstrual phase of a woman after she has united in holy matrimony with her beloved. And it's honeymoon, so the lunar cycle, which is connected to our menstrual cycle. And this phase was considered highly sacred as it is an initiation process of bringing their beloved through the different phases and faces of woman through this cycle. So the newly beloved is able to learn what the maiden phase of their new beloved's cycle is like, what their mother phase is like, what their Marga phase is like, and what their crone phase is like, so they can learn how to love them through all of these different phases and hold space for them and know how to nurture them and best support them through these different phases and how they can best support each other. So it was considered an initiation period, an education period, an exploration, and really important times so that the many different faces of woman could be seen and appreciated and loved and respected, and not just the maiden fun beautiful phase, but also the wise and introspective phase, and also the nurturing phase and the giving phase and the active phase and the resting phase and the sensitive phase. So this is, it's a really beautiful time. And for those of us who haven't been married or aren't married but are connecting with others, this honeymoon phase can happen in our connection, in our relationship connections, and also in the beginning of a relationship that does eventuate to marriage. And this phase is where we are first connecting with somebody and learning all about them, and our biology changes. We have a lot more oxytocin in the body, the bonding hormone, the love, cuddle hormone, dopamine, and other hormones are flooding our body. So we're pretty much high on these drugs. And it's a really, really beautiful phase of a relationship. And, sometimes we'll see our partners we'll see our friends disappear when they meet someone and are in this phase, because it is like the most beautiful drug and experience and exploration of love, and finding this connection in another to reflect back to us the love that we are. So and so it can be a tricky phase to navigate and to do in a healthy way. So one way to approach it is to treat it as a honeymoon. So treat it as your partner coming to learn the many different faces of you. And so you don't just bring your best face to them, you bring all of you to them so they can learn all of you. And it's going to be, the all of you is going to be probably much less stressed and difficult to be around than, say in 2 years' time when the love drugs are worn off. But it is really beautiful to share with them each of the different phases of your menstrual cycle if you're bleeding. So see it as a time where you're sharing all of yourself with your partner, and they're learning about you, but also being mindful to create really healthy agreements and boundaries within yourself, and so that you can try to avoid any kind of enmeshment patterns or attachment patterns that you might have. So one way to do this is to be mindful with the amount of time that you dedicate to your partner. Maybe in the beginning there's going to be a lot of dedication to your partner, maybe particularly for that first month, the honeymoon phase, sharing all of yourself with this person, but then being mindful to make sure you also give yourself time, and not allow any of the internal dialogue that can change when you're around your partner. So things that can help is making an agreement with yourself that you stick to, even if you are all loved up and drugged up on love chemicals, when you're with your partner. So if you say, I want to go to yoga 3 times this week, then you will stick to that plan, even if yoga means leaving the yummy snuggly bed at 6 a.m. in the morning. And it's not ideal when you're all loved up and drugged up, but then knowing that you're going to see your partner again, and you're going to be all the better for it. Your body's going to thank you, and you're keeping things fresh in the relationship, and you're still remaining integral in you. I know for me, when Jessie and I first met, I was dancing a lot, and it was so hard for me to stick to my dance lessons. Like, I just wanted to stay with Jessie all the time, but luckily I'd already paid for all my dance classes, so I had an investment in that. It might not have been so easy for me to stick to it, but I did, and I was really grateful that I did. And I'd come home and it was like no time had passed, and it was really beautiful. So yeah, I feel like making sure we commit to the time that we have allocated for things that are good for us outside of the relationship. And there's an 80-20 rule in relationships. I feel once you're beyond the honeymoon phase, it's more realistic to have an 80-20 rule. But trying to sort of work more towards that, which is 20% of your connection you get through your romantic relationship, and then the other 80 you get through connection through other things. So with connection to yourself, connection to your passion, connection to your friends, connection to your work. And the way that we can really remain integral in this 80-20 rule is to be fully present with the things that we are giving that attention to. So if we're going to give 20% of our attention to work, but then bring that work into our relationship, then it's eating away from our 20% in our relationship and expanding what we're doing in work. Or if you want to give 20% to your friends and you hang out with your friends, but you're just sitting there texting your partner or calling your partner, then you're taking away from the friend connection and giving to the partner connection. So just being mindful, because as females we are really good at multitasking, and doing more than one thing at the same time. Just being mindful that we're not bleeding into different areas too much throughout the 80-20 kind of sphere of relating and connecting. So yeah, and I feel like it's also really important just to honor that in that part of the honeymoon phase, and know that we're not going to be perfect in that phase, and that things don't stay the same forever. But feeling into your body and into your womb and into your intuition of, okay, is this beneficial for me, or am I making excuses so I can just keep getting this yummy love drug? And I know that checking in, do I feel like I should be going to yoga? Yeah, no, I probably should. Okay, I'm going to go to yoga. My partner's still going to be here when I get back. But if it is 6 a.m. in the morning and it's raining and you just want to cuddle and snuggle, you might be like, okay, I had made this agreement, but this is really yummy, and I will do my yoga later this afternoon, or whatever it is. Like, just bringing that awareness to it, and keeping, if this is a pattern that you feel is present for you, just keeping mindful of your agreements and your integrity, and how much better you will feel for remaining integral in with your internal agreements and boundaries that you set for yourself. Because, you know, we can't really trust ourselves when we are loved up on love drugs and sex hormones, and it's just the same as if we'd had alcohol or marijuana or some other mind-altering substance. We're not able to make well-informed decisions because we are essentially in an altered state of consciousness when we are on those love chemicals. So what I feel is really important is just being mindful of that and being like, okay, I'm making these decisions about what I need, where I need to share my energy and give to myself and give to others while I'm sober, and I'm going to try and stick to them as much as I can while I'm with my partner. Much love to you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.